What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. This guy right here is our show's vibes curator, Mr. Maverick. How you doing today, mister? Doing good. Doing good. We have a super cool episode coming. Super awesome dude. Before we get into it, let me thank the show's partners, Free Fly Apparel, Afueta Coffee, Trout Routes. If you want to save all month long on Trout Routes Pro, use the link in the show notes to get a month of Trout Routes Pro free. Another one, Cordina Eyewear. Use code rise_flies, CLT at checkout to save on your shipping and get it free. Also, Yeti coolers. We got Cordina Eyewear, we already mentioned. And that's about it. We have Mr. Rick Crawford from Emerger Strategies and the Sustainable Angler Podcast coming on today. And we talk about a bunch of stuff. Super cool dude. Until he comes on, talk to the Trout Wrangler, the Vibes Curator. Doesn't want to say anything. So, until he gets on, here we go. What's up, guys? So, like I said in the intro, we do have an interview today with a guy I met a few weeks ago at the Awesome Soulfly Festival. I've seen your podcast before and all that stuff, and it was good to finally meet you in person. But for people that don't know you, can you introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do and how you got started in fly fishing?
Yeah. Well, first, thanks for having me, Ryan. And yeah, it was great to meet you in person. I've been seeing your podcast pop up, and I recognize you. So I guess I was a little bit of a fanboy. I came over, I was like, "Aren't you Ryan from Trout Wrangler?" But yeah, Soulfly was a super fun event.
Oh yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, my name's Rick Crawford. I am the founder of Emerger Strategies, and we are a sustainable business consultancy for fishing and outdoor brands. So, in short, we help companies make the business case for sustainability. And I'll give you an example, like because a lot of people are like, "Well, what does that mean?" For example, I did an assessment of Z-Man fishing products and saw that they were spending close to $100,000 a year on their power bill. And so I recommended energy efficiency and solar. They eliminated their power bill and actually created a new revenue stream because they're putting excess power into the grid, and they're simultaneously reducing their carbon footprint at the same time. So basically, we help companies find wins for the environment and for their bottom line. And I launched Emerger in 2016, so we're 10 years old now. And along the way, I started a podcast, The Sustainable Angler, where I interview business leaders, conservationists, and we just talk about sustainability and conservation and fishing. Also launched the Fly Fishing Climate Alliance in 2020, which was just an initiative to get fly fishing guides, shops, lodges, and brands to commit to net zero emissions by 2050. Because as our rivers and oceans warm, that affects our fisheries, and so it makes sense for companies in the industry to work to reduce their footprint. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that I saw you've had some pretty cool collabs over the days, and I love listening to your podcast because like you do have some awesome people on.
I appreciate it.
One you were talking about a second ago, there was a big win this week for conservation in South Carolina where they did drop that limit of the redfish to 2 per day per boat. That is a massive win.
Yeah,
massive win.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the data on our redfish in South Carolina, they're in decline, and
Oh yeah.
letting people harvest. I can't remember. With redfish, I'm not opposed to catching fish and eating them. Don't get me wrong, but redfish I primarily release. So I truthfully don't even know what the. I think it was maybe.
Was it 5 per boat?
I was about to say that. I was like, yeah, I think it was 5 per boat, which is just kind of a lot. And I
Outrageous.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't really I don't think redfish is a great eating fish in my opinion,
Mm-mm.
which is why I don't keep them. But it's a huge win, right? So that we can rebuild our stocks, rebuild our fishery. You know, there's more people fishing every year, so to not change limits on some of these fish, I think, is a little short sighted.
Oh, I 100% agree. Especially like this should happen all up the East Coast
Yeah,
and down the East Coast. I mean,
yeah,
you see it in Georgia right now. I mean, you've probably met Jared from
oh
On the
yeah,
Fly.
yeah,
Dude, they have to do that down there, and I think this should kind of be the tipping point
yeah.
for a lot of these other states to be like, all right, South Carolina did it. They're probably one of the premier red drum fisheries on the East Coast. You know, maybe say Georgia, Florida, and even North Carolina should try to follow suit just because it is a prize fish. If the red drum goes distinct, that's a bunch of guides that are out of a job.
It
And
affects jobs. It affects tax. I mean, people come to the low country and the southeast coast to redfish. I mean, and they're staying
right,
in hotels. They're eating at the restaurants. They're, you know, it's a destination. Um, it's an angling destination, and people come to fish for redfish. And so, yeah, it has economic implications, and also just, you know, I want to be, you know, if I'm lucky to have grandkids one day, I want to be able to go out on a flood tide and catch a redfish. You know, like I mean,
exactly.
it's pretty simple. Like, yeah, let's reduce those numbers. I saw too this week, Bonefish Tarpon Trust had released some, and I know New Orleans, or excuse me, not New Orleans, Louisiana, I think just gave tarpon game fish status,
Yes,
and Virginia, they're making them catch and release only.
a
And
hundred.
those are big wins too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Tarpon. I don't know why somebody one would keep a tarpon, man.
You
Like
can't eat them. I mean, or
you can't
I
eat
don't,
them.
I don't know anyone who has anyway. But yeah, it's just, I mean, why kill it? I mean, what's the purpose of it?
Exactly. It's one of those things. I think the first big win for the tarpon down in Florida was any tarpon over 31 inches should not be brought out of the water.
Yeah,
If like
yeah,
in FWC has been getting really strict on that these days, which is a great thing.
yeah,
I mean, because it's one of those things a lot of people don't realize that if you shift a tarpon, at like a bigger size tarpon, any which way, those bones are going all the way to the back of that fish, and it's dying within a 2 hour time span.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's not good for the fish.
not at all. And it's crazy to see how many people. Like I saw something the other day, some kid in Florida, like literally lifting a giant like 50-inch tarpon out of the water, and it's the comments just flooded with people like, you know, that's illegal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like FWC is about to be knocking on your door tomorrow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You just put this on social media.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like you looked at this, you're like, all right, that's a big tarpon. I'm still gonna click send, knowing I should not have brought that fish out of the water.
yeah, 100%.
But like, you see it a lot too. Like, it should be the same way with the stripers in New England.
Yeah,
Like, we both know Kyle and a bunch of these striper guides and stuff like that up in New England, where that's those guys, again, livelihood. The striper is dying at an absolutely insane rate in New England. And I've kind of seen it over the past 5 years. I still have a lot of family that lives up there on the North Shore, and we go up there and we're going up there to striper fish, and it's like, well, can't really find them today. Can't find menhaden. Can't find mackerel for bait and stuff like that. And it's the same thing. They should just be kind of pumping the brakes on how many striper you can even really keep. And
Well,
it's another thing, like, why are people keeping striper?
yeah. That's I don't understand it. But the other thing, when and kind of the work that I do, um, and why I do it is, you know, our oceans are warming, and these species like striper are moving further north,
Oh yeah.
and so it's a that's where the reducing your carbon footprint. That's why that's important. And when we start to see this, I mean, if it continues at this rate, there aren't going to be striper fishing in the Northeast. It'll all be in Canada, and that's
Yeah.
what's already starting to happen. They're starting to shift. Like someone caught I don't know how big it was, but a decent sized snook in Charleston Harbor a few years ago. Like you're just starting to see these changes,
Yeah.
and they're just following the temperature, right? I mean, it's too hot. They're just like, I'm out. I'm going to where I'm comfortable.
100%. And you see more like very Floridian fish starting to come up towards Charleston and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And it's nuts. Like, I'm not gonna call out the fish because it's kind of like a hidden secret. You probably know exactly which one I'm talking about up in Charleston.
yeah,
Not not the not the big shad, but there's another one that people don't realize that they have them up in Charleston right now, and that's a predominantly hot water fish that stays down in Florida usually.
yeah,
And people are now starting to see them up in Charleston and even farther north. And people are like, well, how are these fish getting up here?
yeah,
And it's like, you got to look at it. Like, we have right now, we're in a mega drought
yeah,
and it's hot out. And
yeah,
what's that doing to the ocean? It's just heating that up.
yeah,
That's why you're starting to get an influx of all those fish from Florida starting to come up. Like, you see it at least once a year now too, where you're seeing bonefish freaking wash up on the shore in like Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. And you're sitting there, and people are like, "Dude, how's that happening? How's that happening?" It's like, well,
oh,
look, it's the ocean is just warming up at an absolutely alarming rate.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's I don't know why climate change has gotten politicized. It's just science. Like it's just like,
Yeah,
okay, this something is happening. Let's study it. And as it turns out, they figured out that hey, it's called they're called greenhouse gas emissions because it's a greenhouse effect. It's we're
yeah,
putting pollution into the air. It's warming the planet, and therefore our oceans absorb much of that heat, and it acidifies it, and it causes these shifts in migratory patterns. It causes more intense storms, drought, wildfires. It's not. There's nothing political about that. It's just like here's what the science is saying that it's happening, and you're going, oh wow, it's really happening. Like
yeah.
sea level rise is happening in the Low Country. Like it floods in downtown Charleston on sunny days with the tides big
Yeah.
enough.
It's crazy too, and I think a lot of people don't realize that like a lot of people talk about the tide swing in Charleston, that it's the craziest tide swing
Yeah,
that they've ever seen.
yeah,
And it's like that's a big thing too. It's like, how do you think that tide swing is getting so big? And it's like for years it's been that way, but it's just getting more drastic and drastic every time I go up there to fish. Or
yeah,
down there to fish, I should say. I'm in North Carolina. I'm an idiot.
yeah,
But every time I go down there to fish, it's just getting way more drastic.
yeah,
And it's even crazy when you start seeing it happen at Winyah Bay, where it's
yeah,
like in college when I used to fish bass tournaments, there'd always be a stop at Winyah Bay. And everyone's like, yeah, dude, let's go out to Winyah. And it's fun because it's like, you can sit out there, you can throw a spinnerbait and catch a dang bass and a red back to back. And you can see dolphins running in there, and you're like, whoa. But then it's like a bunch of kids, they're like, dude, this is nuts. They're like, I'm sitting up here, and I'm like, I barely have any water sitting in there. I was like, yeah, that's South Carolina tidal fishing, dude. Like, that is
yeah,
low country tidal fishing. Like, they're like, dude, this is the worst tidal swing I've ever seen since I fished the James River my sophomore year.
yeah,
And it's like, yeah, dude, that is a low country tidal swing. It is
yeah,
absolutely insane.
yeah, no doubt.
But dude, yeah, that the striper thing's starting to get bad, man. It's starting to get really bad.
Yeah, it is. And you know, I mean, and I hate, and like, I don't want to come on here and just be negative and talk about this stuff,
No.
but this stuff is happening, and
Oh yeah,
you
it's
know,
happening.
and you have to adapt, and going back to the the redfish regulations, things like that are necessary right now.
Right.
If we want our fisheries to thrive in the future, I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. And you're starting to see things on the freshwater side too. Like there's a bunch of stuff going in right now about protecting the Appalachian brook trout.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's kind of nice to start seeing it come out more because for so long, it's like I feel like everybody's pushed the whole save the brook trout, and nothing's really gone into it.
Yeah,
But you now have these organizations up here, especially in like Western North Carolina, Tennessee, up through the Smokies, that realize that a native brook trout, especially a native Appalachian brook trout,
mm-hmm.
is a very, very sought after species. And it's very unique because it's unique to the whole area of Western North Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah, and they're native. I mean, they've been there for forever.
Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's literally a bloodline of fish that have been regenerating for years, but people are starting to keep them. And once again, it shouldn't be that way. Because it's like, one, cleaning a trout is ridiculous, but like you shouldn't be keeping a trout that is a fish that has predominantly been in that area and bred and has like a legit lineage for decades and decades and decades.
Well, I mean, and it's not like they're that big. Like, why
No.
are you going to eat a brook trout? Like,
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah, it's wild.
But what do you think these days right now are kind of like the biggest wins going on in the fly fishing industry or just the fishing industry as a whole?
Um, you know, it's good to see these things. These, you know, everybody is like, oh, I don't want regulations, but I mean, regulations are necessary because without them, we will fish species to extinction. I mean, it's just
Right.
you have to have these things in place. So I think seeing more regulations like with the tarpon, with the redfish, the brook trout, all of this, right, are very good for our fisheries for the long term.
Right.
Um, and you know, just other wins. Although what is happening with our public lands and waters, for that matter, is like they're going to allow a foreign mining company to come in and put a copper sulfide mine at the headwaters of the boundary waters. And I've never fished up there. I don't, you know, but it's
Yeah, I
just
haven't either.
it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out, should we put a mine at the headwaters of a pristine wilderness, and they have a 100% failure rate for leakage.
Yeah.
So while that is not good, what is good is seeing the fly fishing, the fishing, the outdoor industry come together with a collective voice and saying, hey, we value our public lands and our waters, and this gives us access to hunting and fishing. And I think that is a good thing and a good sign for the future of public lands and public waters and our fisheries, when you get
Right.
a collective voice saying no to this. And I've actually seen in Wyoming, there's some nonprofit now, I can't remember their name, but they're actually looking at candidates and determining if they're pro public lands or not. And if they're anti public lands and you're voting in that same party, vote for the one who's pro public lands. Like, you know,
Right.
it's so I think that those are all really good things, and it's good to see that momentum. You know, within the fly fishing industry, I mean, since I started my company, Seen a lot more brands adopting sustainable business practices, making the switch to more sustainable packaging, um, things that are going to degrade harmlessly back into the earth or the ocean if they fly out of
Yeah.
your skiff or, whatever. It happens. And so making these changes that are better for the environment, they're better for our fisheries. And I'm seeing that the brands that are doing these things are being rewarded by anglers with their business, and
Right.
they'll support them more. So yeah, I think that those are all really positive trends. And then the other thing is just because of COVID, there's a whole new generation of fly anglers
Yes.
that are out there that are younger and getting into the sport, and these younger generations really care about who they spend their money with. They vote with their dollars, and so
Yes.
the brands that are doing the right thing are getting rewarded with more business, more sales.
100%. And it's kind of cool to see these brands kind of like putting money into those things. Like, the Ross thing that just went down with Coors Light and Coors Banquet.
Yeah, yeah,
They gave all that money from those real profits. I'm pretty sure they gave most of it to like Rocky Mountain water restoration.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's something really cool because it's like, what, you can get a pretty badass reel. And it's
yeah.
also going to a good cause.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you a cool story about them. I'm doing some work with Mayfly Outdoors as the parent company, and they own Able Reels, Ross Reels, Airflo Fly Line, Dynaking, Renzetti, and I think Airlight Rods. Anyway, the company is a B Corp, which is like the gold standard for being socially and environmentally responsible for a business. So they're a B Corp, and I was out at their headquarters in Montrose, Colorado. I don't know, a month or two ago, and they have everything from Airflow, and Mayfly will supply your fly shop with a fly line recycling box,
Okay.
and it doesn't matter what brand. They put it in there and they send it to this organization called TerraCycle, and they'll recycle it. So they're keeping
Oh,
fly
sweet.
lines out of the landfill. They restored like 2 river miles behind their like campus with Trout Unlimited, and
Oh, awesome.
the trout are coming back, and they're using aluminum. We got the tour where they actually make the Ross and Able reels, and they're using the aluminum is sourced in Utah, and they take the shavings from whenever the machine makes the reel and send it back, and they'll start to use recycled aluminum in their reels. So just cool stuff that's good for their business. It's good for the environment. Like those are the things that um, you're seeing more of it, and I think it drives innovation, and I think it is just an inherently good thing to do for a business. And so, um, yeah, I when you mentioned Ross, I just had to throw that tidbit out there because I was just blown away by their operation. Like they're oh yeah, and their aluminum supplier supplied is powered with solar power. So
Okay.
there's a it's less greenhouse gas emissions. It's just they're cool stories, and it makes, at least for me, of course I'm a sustainability nerd, but that it's like, okay, well, I know what reels I'm going to buy going forward.
Yeah.
It's like it's awesome. It's cool.
It is cool, dude. And it's like, that's your smart business. Kind of
Yeah,
like, that's knowing your target market and knowing that, what, like these people care a little bit more about, say, like the environment or their fisheries more than the average bear. And
yeah,
they're like, what, we're going to do this the right way and give these airflow uh, line recycling boxes, or we're going to go and make these reels and send the profits back to Utah, or I want to say it was Trout Unlimited that they gave it to.
yeah. Yeah.
in Golden, Colorado, and it's like that's just smart business in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I
And
agree. It's a better way to do business. It's better, and if you're, you know, a fly fishing brand or a shop or whatever, you're in this business. Everything that you do, right? So first off, like a friend of mine who's another sustainability guy always says, like, what's the most sustainable thing your company could do? And it's like, well, it would be to go out of business. So since we all agree we're not going to do that, we all have to eat, we all have to provide for our families. Let's just do it better, this is just a better way to do it. And if your business is dependent upon healthy ecosystems, then it makes all the sense in the world that you would be making those efforts to minimize your environmental impact because it's better for the fish that you depend on, that your business depends on.
right, at Soulfly, I saw you were walking around
Oh yeah,
with the little trash bags. That is a really cool idea
yeah.
because say that flies out of your boat, that's still gonna what words on the tip of my tongue right now? That's still gonna
It's going to buy.
compose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, it's biodegradable. I mean, and it's harmless. It's a the the company is called Sway, and they're like, so if anyone listening to this works in a retail store, you know how many plastic poly you get an individual clear plastic poly bag for every garment that you sell. It's what it's wrapped in. It's used to protect the item so that if it's being shipped and it rains or whatever, it doesn't get damaged, which I get, right? You don't want a bunch of damaged goods. But this company has come out with a bag that's made from seaweed, and
Oh wow.
it's clear, so you can still see the garment in the bag. So it replaces a plastic poly bag with one that's made from seaweed. That if it goes anywhere, it's going to harmlessly biodegrade, which is super
Interesting.
cool. And a New Earth Project is the company that's distributing those. They're actually based in North Carolina, and they have office here. And they were one of the sponsors of Soulfly, and so
Okay.
that was really cool to get to show all the brands that were there. That like, hey, did you know about this? And they didn't, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing! Like this is so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it becomes part of the customer experience for the brand. If you get you buy something online and it gets shipped to you and you open it up and your first contact with that brand is a bag that's made from seaweed, it kind of immediately tells you what that company is all about. Like they cared
Right.
enough to make the switch, and it's good for the brand. It's good for their reputation.
Yeah. Does it almost looks like does Free Fly use something like that?
They
Is
might.
it
I'm not sure.
um does that
And
like
they're a B
every
Corp. Free
yeah.
Fly's a B Corp. And so I know that they're taking environmental responsibility seriously, and so they very well may be using those. That's awesome.
Yeah, they may. It looks very similar to the
Yeah.
one that you were showing people. Another company I saw there that seemed really cool, and they have something really cool going was Yogi Bins,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like they have the trash can. It's almost like a trash can thing for your skiff, and it's
Yeah.
like anyone that has a boat that's like, oh yeah, like you end up tossing your beer cans and say like your live well or something like that. Everyone likes to have a beer too on the boat, but it's
Yeah.
like throw it in a live well. It's like, well, here's this bin that it's nice, compact. You can stick it in the floorboard next to you, just throw them in there, and then dump it out on at their boat ramp at the end of the day. It completely alleviates bringing like a trash bag or something like that and having the risk to fly out of the boat.
Well, and it's got this like the hole to put the trash in has these things that like close up. So like even if you put on a new leader, you can stuff it down in there. It won't come back up, so it's not going to blow out of the boat. Like so it's basically a trash bin that's durable. That's you can put on your boat. You can take it camping. You can do whatever, and uh, you don't have to worry about it flying out. I mean, you could put it in your truck bed. How many times you drive down the interstate and see stuff flying out of the back of people's truck
Oh
beds,
yeah.
and it's like, I don't think they do that on purpose, but it happens. And this is just an easy solution. It's just like, yeah, we'll just put it in here, and then you can recycle what needs to be recycled, and all that. So
Oh yeah.
it's a cool product. I really dug that. I had not heard of them prior to being at Soulfly.
Dude, same here. I hadn't heard of them, and now that I saw them at Soulfly, I've been seeing their ads like everywhere,
You
and I've
got
been
targeted.
seeing, yeah, I've been seeing their ads everywhere, and then I also saw like someone else was using one. I'm pretty sure it was like Kevin Van Dam or something like that. There's somebody using one in a video that was like a pretty big fly fishing YouTube guy or like a pro fly fisherman, and I was like, damn, that's that bin that I saw at Soulfly. And I was like,
Yeah,
that thing's
yeah,
sick.
yeah, yeah. I want one. I gotta get one.
Yeah, dude. I was like, damn, they got me. They set the hook on me right there. They heard me talking about it on my phone or something like that, and then it pops up. I'm like, damn, man, I'm gonna need to sink a few dollars in one of these things. The things like inventions that have come into the fly fishing industry in the
Yeah.
recent years. You know, you got some good ones, you got some bad ones that are kind of bad for fly fishing, but some of the good ones that you got. What are like some of the things that you've seen come into the industry or come into the market that are helping out from sustainability standpoint and environmentally friendly standpoint?
Um. Well, you had Yeti coming out with just reusable wear, and like at Soulfly, we had Yeti silos, and we got BPI certified compostable cups. So I did the sustainability event plan for Soulfly, and that was one of the things that we didn't want a bunch of people with single use plastic bottles. Like it's off brand, particularly for fly fishing. Nobody
Yeah.
wants a bunch of plastic. You see too much of it anyway. So anyway, we got these compostable cups, and we had Yeti silos so that people could just refill cups, or if they brought a water bottle, they could refill it. So I think Yeti's had a big impact,
Oh yeah.
just from a single use plastic standpoint. That's really cool. Now you've got a Yogi bin who's out there making it easy to pick up trash or make sure stuff isn't flying out of your truck or your skiff. But you're also starting to see, from an apparel standpoint, um, so there's this chemical that's called PFAS, and it's starting to get banned in a lot of states because it's called a forever chemical, which means
Okay.
that it basically does not biodegrade. It will stay around forever. And initially, it was created, I think, by maybe the military or the Air Force or something, because it's good at putting out fires. But
Okay.
anyway, over the years, like any pair of wader that you bought prior to, I don't know what year, 2021 or something, anything that is a water repellent, a ski jacket, they
Yeah.
all were coated in PFAS because it's a water repellent. Well, as it turns out, it's not good for the environment. It's not good when it gets in and it never goes away. So now you're starting to see companies come out, and everyone is doing it because it's illegal in some states. But you're starting to see innovation in durable water repellents that is called DWR, that isn't as harmful, because
Okay.
they're getting rid of the PFAS. So that's cool. You're seeing more companies use natural fibers in their clothes versus like blending it with a synthetic. And not to bore everyone, but there's another regulation coming out in California where it's called EPR for textiles, extended producer responsibility, and companies that sell apparel into California are going to have some type of take back or recycling program for the apparel, because so much of it's going into the landfill. So you're seeing all these different things that are happening, at a product level. You're seeing it happen at a packaging level. There's like 8 states that have EPR for packaging laws. So now you're seeing a bunch of brands make this switch to fiber based packaging. That's why, like Amazon,
Uh-huh.
All your stuff from Amazon now comes in paper. It used to be in plastic.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing this shift happen where companies are having to think about the full life cycle of their product, even the end of its life, which
Yeah.
is a good thing, right? So all this
Great thing.
stuff doesn't end up in the landfill. It's not, nobody wants to be covering themselves in chemicals and all this stuff. And so I think that's good. I think that the other things that you've got companies that are making products from recycled fishing nets. So a company called Burio collects ghost nets from the ocean that get dropped from commercial fishing vessels, and it's made out of plastic, and they get it out of the ocean, so it's keeping fish species from getting entangled and dying in them. And they turn it into products, and like they're like on the plastic brim of hats and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I mean, you're just seeing people creating products that are solving problems.
Right.
And I think that that's awesome. Like that's the best kind of innovation, right? You're solving a problem, and it's helping to drive your sales, and it's something new. And so like Yogi Benz is a good example of that. And actually they make, I talked to one of the guys from Cole recently, and they're making those out of recycled plastic. So it's just like a
Oh.
total full circle. Like, hey, these bins are made from recycled plastic. You can put your trash and your plastic in it. Like it's keeping campsites cleaner. It's keeping our rivers and oceans cleaner. Like it's just that's the secret sauce, right? Is finding these win-wins. Like how can I
Yeah.
bring a product to market that is solving an environmental problem and make a new material or product out of it? It's pretty cool.
Right. Now that you're talking about the recycled nets
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Burio, dude, I have an Orvis hat that is
yeah.
actually a recycled fishing net,
It's
and
awesome.
yeah, it's super comfortable hat too. It's like I was like, this is a freaking great idea,
Yeah,
and I didn't know that was the company's name until you just said it. Because like I have an orange and blue Orvis hat that my girlfriend's mom got me for Christmas one year. That it has in the tag inside that I think it was Burio that
yeah, yeah,
did it.
yeah. It's. I think they call it Net Plus by Burio,
Yeah,
and it's yeah, it's super cool. I've got one too, and like those are just. I mean, that's it's just fun. Like that's innovative. That's cool. Like yeah, all right, you got some fishing nets out of the ocean that were killing fish, and you made a new product out of it. That's awesome.
yeah. That's a big thing in North Carolina right now too. Like especially Eastern North Carolina is the shrimp trawlers. That's like a
Mm,
huge thing. Is they're fighting against that, or I think they just pushed it a couple more months or something like that they got to fight it again. But like
yeah.
that's another thing. It's like we shouldn't have to go to the bottom of the ocean and pick out these nets that are breaking. It stinks,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, it's just, people and companies and, all of us, like, this isn't like a lecture, right? It's just everyone should just leave this place better than you found it. And, like, if
exactly.
you're not taking responsibility for the products that you're putting out there and the packaging and everything else, like, it's a little short sighted.
Oh, 100%. Um, but dude, yeah, like you said, you just worked on the whole sustainability thing for Free Fly. Dude,
Soulfly. Yeah.
yeah, Soulfly, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Yeah.
that. I get that mixed up sometimes. For Soulfly. But dude, you were doing a bunch of the stuff with Paul with the
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
Dude, the freaking Chris Farley one had me freaking dying, man. Dude, that was so funny.
I
But
have
like,
I've been told that I have a slight resemblance to him, and they're not wrong.
dude, honestly, one of my favorite actors, dude. Whenever I see Tommy Boy has been airing on CMT for whatever reason, and dude, like my girlfriend's always like, dude, like, why do you like this movie? I was like, dude, it is just stereotypical great slapstick '90s comedy,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Physical comedy.
yeah, it is just like legit as real as it gets comedy, and I actually have one of the Chris Farley T-shirts from Paul.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's got to be your bull.
Yeah. I've got that one too. Because it's just too good. Like that's the best shirt ever.
Oh yeah, dude, but you had a pretty big driving force in Soulfly, and how was it being involved with that whole crew, dude? That was an awesome event, like you're talking about earlier.
I mean, Grizz is just a legend, and he's so
Yeah,
positive and so funny. And Kyle Schaefer, his partner at Soulfly Lodge, and Kyle's wife Kitry. I mean, they're just good people.
yeah,
And I had done some work with Grizz and Kyle prior to this, so that was how we some sustainability work with them, and that's how we were kind of connected. And then when they were doing it, they were like, "Hey, do you think we could make this event like how could we make it more sustainable, basically?" And I was like, "Okay, well, let's figure it out." So um, we attempted to make it zero waste. I'm putting together their impact report. I was actually working on it this week. We're going to release that in the next week or two. So I don't want to give it all away, but we set some goals that we would want to partner with a conservation nonprofit and donate proceeds from the event to them, which was Charleston Waterkeeper. We wanted to try and make the event zero waste. That's why there were recycling and composting and refillable water stations and all that all over the venue. We wanted to we set a goal to make the event carbon neutral, which means that you measure the footprint of how many attendees were there, the electricity that was used, the natural gas that was used in the food trucks, and the travel from attendees to get there. And then you measure the footprint, and then what you can do is you can purchase what are called carbon offsets for that amount, and it'll make the event carbon neutral. I don't that one I don't think we're going to achieve, but it's one of these things, right, where you're just like sustainability is about. I look at it as if it's a person, it's about becoming the best version of yourself, and so it's just about you don't have to. It's not about perfection. It's about, hey, can we do it? Like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I don't know if we can do this. But these are some goals we should set. One thing I will share that was cool, the Yeti silos, we figured out how many plastic water bottles were avoided from that. And it was over 1,800 single-use plastic bottles were
wow,
avoided because we had those refilling stations, and the cups look just like a clear plastic cup, but they're actually compostable. And so in Charleston, we have our Charleston County has a composting facility, and so those can just go right in with the food and yard waste, and they'll biodegrade harmlessly.
yeah.
Um, so those are just some things that we thought, hey, let's see what we can do and see if it'll work. And so I'm excited to get this impact report out and let people know that, like, this wasn't Soulfly or Emerger Strategies or anything. This was all the attendees being good stewards and choosing to recycle the things that needed to be recycled, choosing to compost the things that needed to be composted. And it made a huge impact. We diverted a significant portion of the waste from the landfill through recycling and composting. So it was really cool.
Sweet, man. Now, have you found anything yet that next year you wanna up the ante on?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's part of it, right? It's like, it's not about perfection. It's like, okay, well, what did we learn from this and what could we do better? And, some of that was talking about, like, hey, could we maybe whenever people buy their tickets, ask them where they're coming from so that we could get a more accurate carbon footprint. So versus estimating it, being like, okay, it's probably, 75% of the people came, were in the Charleston area, 25% came from out of town.
All right.
And so, yeah, we could do a better job with the data collection. We could I've got some ideas about like maybe we could charge a bunch of batteries with solar panels and run the music through solar powered batteries so that there's no emissions. Yeah, so I mean, that's the fun part about sustainability is like, okay, let's see what we can do, let's measure it. Okay, here's where we fell short. Here's for whatever reason this didn't happen, and okay, what can we do better? And so we've got it's actually part of the impact report is a list of things that we could actually do better for next year's event here in Charleston.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
That about wraps up what I got for you. But first, my last question is always so I have a running playlist on Spotify, and I give 5 songs, and you give 5 songs for the running playlist.
Okay.
Any 5 songs you want, whatever ones you got, we can go one for one, or we can just go and list off our songs, and I'll put them on the playlist.
All right. Well, I came prepared. I wrote mine down. However you want to do it.
All right. We can go. I'll just give you my 5, and then you can give me your 5.
Okay.
Let's see what I got. I had to get to the playlist first. Let's see. All right, got to get to the bottom of it. There we go. Ooh, not all the way to the bottom yet, but all right. So my first one, Ramblin' Man, the Allman Brothers Band.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with Allman Brothers, dude. Just one of the, I think that is probably one of the best Southern rock groups that had ever come out of Macon, Georgia.
No doubt.
Come out of the Southeast, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
My second one, The Ride, David Allan Coe.
Excellent.
Great song.
Yep.
My third one, Maverick, stop trying to eat my thread. Sorry, my dog was getting down there to try and eat my tying thread. My third one, Turpin Station, The Grateful Dead.
Love it.
I love the Dead. Fourth is Long Forgotten Dream, Billy Strings.
Yep.
And
love
then
some Billy.
Oh, dude, I love Billy Strings. It was kind of cool to see Mountain Grass Unit. I'd seen Mountain Grass Unit one more time, but it was a completely different set. And I loved that they threw in some Doc Watson, and then they went like Doc Watson, and then Widespread Panic.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is awesome. I was like, this is sick.
They were really good. I'd never seen them before. They were awesome.
Dude, they are fantastic. I saw Mountain Grass Unit literally with like 100 other people when it's like a small band. I went with one of my buddies. We picked up like, I want to say it was like $20 tickets. And they were here somewhere in the mountains. I forget where it was. And we were already up there fishing. And I was like, hey man, like, Mountain Grass Unit's in town. I was like, you want to buy some tickets? And he was like, I've never heard of them, but let's do it. I was like, I haven't heard of them either. We're already up here. And I was like, we got a hotel for the night anyway. Like, let's just go and check it out. It's like 5 minutes down the road. Yeah. We went and saw them. I was like, this band's going to be huge in a year and a half. It wasn't quite a year and a half, but it was a little bit later. And I was like, all right, this is a sick band.
Yeah. They were killer. I've been jamming them lately.
Oh, yeah. And now, speaking of Widespread Panic, my last one, Chili Water. Widespread Panic. The version where it's Panic in the Streets live in Athens, Georgia. One of my favorite ones.
That was my first Panic show, was Panic in the Streets.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Dude, so it's funny. So my younger sister went to UGA.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, some of the college kids these days are like, they walk down that walk of fame in Athens and they're like, dude, who's Widespread Panic?
Yeah.
Dude, it's just the best band other than maybe the B-52s. And it's like, that's the best band to come out of Athens, Georgia. I was like,
Athens has got it's got such a great music scene.
Oh, it does.
There's just so many good bands that come out of there. It's unbelievable. But yeah, I am also a huge Panic fan. Seen them many times. They're a guaranteed good time.
Oh yeah, anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere, any place. I actually just saw they were playing. I used to live out in Jackson Hole, um, and they're playing on top of the mountain at Snow King in downtown Jackson on July 5th. And my
Oh
wife and I
wow.
were like, wonder if we could pull that off. But apparently, tickets were real hard to get.
Oh, dude, tell me about it. I got on literally this morning because they're playing in Wilmington, North
Oh,
Carolina.
yeah, yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get on like as soon as I can. I was on. I was literally like maybe 45,000 in line, and by the time I got through the whole like thing, I was like, dude, the last tickets that are gonna be on are like fucking 4 grand. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I'll listen to the show. I'll listen to the show on Nugs when it
Yeah.
comes back out. I was like, I'll sit at the house and watch it live.
Yeah. In the comfort of my own home with no
Yeah,
bathroom line and a cooler of beer.
exactly. But what 5 do you have here? I gotta put them on.
All right. I've got Jimmy Buffett, Tin Cup Chalice,
Oh yeah.
um, my all time favorite Buffett song. So good. It's
Oh
got
yeah.
one of my favorite lines in it. Give me oysters and beer for dinner every day of the year, and I'll be fine. That's a great one.
Yep.
Uh,
Same thing here.
I've got Widespread Panic. Diner is my favorite Panic song. Um, I have. Am I going too fast? I don't know.
No, not at all.
Okay. I have Taj Mahal further on down the road. All of Taj Mahal's music is incredible. So that's one of my favorite Taj songs. Uh, Van Morrison, um, Wonderful Remark. And I'll tell you, when I lived out in Jackson, we were dating at the time, but she's my wife now. Jody and I got tickets and camped and fished our way up through Montana to the Gorge to go see Van Morrison, camped at the Gorge. We're at the show. He plays an hour and a half set, and we see this helicopter fly off, and we're like, that's weird. Like, this is set break. Like, we're just used to, excuse me, going to Panic shows. And we're like, oh, this is set break. It was like, that was gone. So we drove like 24 hours round trip to go see Van Morrison. He played for an hour and a half. That was a little, but it was awesome. But we were like, oh wow, one set for an hour and a half, huh?
That's nuts.
Yeah, yeah. But he was great. But my Van Morrison, Wonderful Remark, such a good song. And then I've got my final is Jack Johnson, A Little Bit of Love. Um, just a just a great tune.
Dude, Jack Johnson's the man.
Yeah, I love Jack. It's
I
good
do
stuff.
too. But that's all I got for you today, man. You got any last thanks or plugs you want to give?
Um, I guess yeah. If anyone listening wants to learn more about what I do, you can check out my website, Emerger Strategies. Um, I guess everyone who listens to this podcast knows what an emerger is, but it's the life cycle stage of an aquatic insect where it sprouts its wings. So that's why I named my company that. And if you want to listen to the Sustainable Angler, it's available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Um, so yeah, check those out. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Heck yeah, man. I will put all of the links in the show notes so that everybody can go listen to the Sustainable Angler and go and check out what Rick does. I'm going to click stop here and we're going to have to let some tracks upload.
Yeah, yeah,
What's up, guys? That was Mr. Rick Crawford. If you liked this episode and you want to hear more, give the YouTube channel a subscribe, give the podcast a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give it a review if you please. Helps me out, helps out the podcast. Lets me know how I'm doing, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Probably don't want to see my ugly mug on your dang screen every week, but you know what? Maybe you do want to see my ugly mug. But until next Tuesday, you guys have a great weekend. Drink responsibly. I'm about to go watch the rest of this ECU baseball game. Go Pirates, beat the hell out of the Tennessee Vols.